chair now recognizes Ms. Luna from Florida for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Gupta, referencing the prison system, has your organization done anything to set up a nationwide policy on rehabilitation measures for people? The reason I ask that is because I've personally had family in and out of the prison systems, and sometimes the only way that these people get clean is by going to jail. And when someone does not go through that transition, they end up back within, whether it's the criminal cycle or the jail system itself. So can you elaborate on that a little bit for me?
Thank you, Congresswoman. You rightly pointed out this is a very important population, and at any given day, there's 2 million Americans incarcerated, and 60 to 80% of them are in prison or jails because of either drug use or
Addiction.
Drug-related crimes. We've committed to offering treatment to everyone in custody in the Federal Bureau of Prisons, and we've also released guidelines for 1115 Medicaid waiver to states to do the same for their jails and prisons. 15 states have already applied, 2 have been approved, including state of Washington and California.
What does that treatment involve? Is it drug-related, or is it actually a STEP program that's something like you'd see out of Narcotics Anonymous?
So these waiver applications can state what they want to be. They can state if they want state prisons or jails or both. They can state what details they want, but 90 days before release, they will have that treatment ready to go, and then they will have a continuity of care into the community, which is a really important step, which gets lost.
So just to be clear, so there's a system that's offered within the jail system, a rehab that they can go through, and then is that considered part of their releasing for sentencing? If they continue the program, are they given more lenient sentence? How does that work?
So that might be a drug court program, which we also support. We also support diversion or deflection programs. That's the entire arc of the criminal justice system. But in this case, when they're planned to be released in 90 days, and for a lot of jails, the turnover time is a lot shorter than that. It's oftentimes 50, 70 days. So that will be that their Medicaid or whatever insurance will not be turned off. They will continue to have that treatment, and they can get that treatment while in custody.
As part of that treatment, is there any faith-based organizations that are allowed to go in to facilitate that?
I think at this point I can get the details for you, but it's going to be the states that are going to have to propose that to CMS.
Okay. The next question I had was to follow up on one of my colleagues from across the aisle over there. I heard you answer on China being uncooperative with basically stopping some of the initial, I guess, chemicals for fentanyl production. I didn't hear you touch on India and how they've been effective. If you can just reiterate that.
Thank you, Congresswoman. We are having, since 2020, a counter-narcotics working group with India being a large chemical industry as well as pharmaceutical. They have been very cooperative. We are working right now to have the 21st century drug policy framework developed with India to make sure that there's diversion protocols in place to hold, again, bad actors accountable. The same is not true for the PRC, the People's Republic of China. We were going to continue to press on them as much as we need to in order to get them to have them cooperate.
Okay, and then just to ask for my own clarification, you had mentioned that the Biden administration basically gave some form of forgiveness for those who were in possession of marijuana. Is that backdated, or when is that effective as of date-wise?
That was last fall, and for all those in federal custody.
At that point in time?
And that is backdated as well, I believe, but we can certainly get you details on that. But it is there's a mechanism that the Department of Justice has to go through to get those records removed.
Expunged would be the term, okay. And then my last question is, if you had a magic wand, what would you do to fix the crisis that you're currently seeing? Because I know that sometimes the legislation takes a while, so what's your opinion?
Congresswoman, that's an excellent question. 2 things I would say. One, attack the entire global supply chain with focus on money, follow the money. On the other hand, make sure that every American who needs to get treatment, their life saved, gets that opportunity to do so.
And you said that in the jail system, it's about 60% that are struggling with addiction.
Exactly, yes.
Okay, all right, cool. Thank you. Chairman, I yield my time. Chairwoman.